Yo, you listening to More About Something Else. Once again, just want to say thank you for listening. On this episode, we talk about Nike, we talk about voting, and just things that are going on today. But here's a clip from the show. It's sad because it's just like, there's one thing that we're all doing right now, and everybody's just like, check on your friends, blah, blah, blah. This is serious. But are you really checking on your friends? We talking about how mental health is very important and how mental illness is detrimental and people are killing themselves because of this and because of that. But are you really checking on people? Like, it's like when somebody overdoses or something or somebody dies, it's just like, what are we doing? Like, why don't we check on people? Why don't we care about people like that? I get it. We all go through life. But the one thing that bothers me is you saying something and not doing it. Literally, if you have something to say, just say it. If you don't have nothing to say, don't say it. If you don't mean it, don't say it. But here we are on social media, and everybody is talking about check on your friends. And now that you heard that, let's begin.
First off, I'm going to have to ask you to go and rate this show. Maybe even leave a comment. And you could do that on iTunes or SoundCloud. And for Android users, you can now listen via Google Play. Now, this podcast may contain explicit content, just saying. So open your mind, relax, and listen to this dope-ass podcast.
For thought, coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest to find more about something else. Hey, food for thought, coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest.
If people don't understand that, well, they don't understand nothing.
Truth spilling, leaving victims to my honest ways. I come in peaks like an alien from outer space. Internet pirates riding waves on your webpage. Download the shit, click the link, press play. I don't mean to pray, but I pray every week for myself, for my fam, cause we all gotta eat. Protein, no more sweets. Till I'm caked up on the beach in Belize. Food for thought, coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest to find more about something else. Wait, food for thought coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest to find more about something else. Wait.
Yo, you listening to More About Something Else. My name is Joshua. And, I just want to say thank you to any and everybody that's been rocking with the show. Truly. I truly appreciate it. But anyways, we are here on this lovely late episode, and things are really weird. Life is weird, it's unexplainable, and the things that happen just happen. I think it's safe to say that how you choose to live your life is how life is going to spit things right back at you. Like, I'm coming to this understanding that we're not really living the life that we truly want to live. And by saying that, it's like we don't respect ourselves. How is one to say that they respect themselves, but they don't try hard enough? A lot of people say, well, I'm not a morning person, How can you not be a morning person if you want to achieve in life, I hate when people say, we have the same 24 hours. I mean, yeah, if you think about it, but I don't know. It's like the time that we do have, we don't utilize it. And I'm starting to realize that about a lot of people. And, I'm just bringing it to the attention because I feel like it's really important. What are you doing with your spare time? Like, we sit here and we complain about how the government this and the government that, but it's just like, look, the government don't really affect you. It's one thing that I thought about when it comes to just creating something like content or just in general, like doing things that really matter, is that you have to be self-sufficient. You have to be disciplined. Like, I get up every morning at 5 o'clock, sometimes 4, just cause. Sometimes I don't need to be up, but I do. I just do it. Why? Discipline, you know. And then on top of that, I have more time to do everything that I want to do. Like make good podcasts. I don't know. But if you want to think about things how it is and how the world is turning right now, think about this. It was 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago, maybe more, maybe less, that the economy crashed. You know, the bankers, they got bailouts, bonuses, and every single opportunity that one could get. But to the normal people like you and me, we got school debt, regular debt, foreclosures. It's a lot of people losing their jobs, still to this day. But yet, the upper class, they talk about how we're lazy. They talk about how we don't know how to survive and that we're surviving off of government and whatever. Just simple things like that. And of course, we got the economy that's not really playing its part because everybody wants higher education, but little pay. Like, why am I overcompensating myself? Why am I setting the standards high for myself if the economy can't do the same? But yet, once again, we are here. We are here dealing with left and we're dealing with right. It's like we're getting punched in the face by Mike Tyson or somebody, you know? Life it just doesn't make any sense right now. But like I said, we're here. You know, the thing about it is now is that we make the best of it. We continue to live our lives, but we make things better for the next generation. What are you going to do? That's the question. It's just like, what part of society do you want to play? Do you want to be the oppressor? Do you want to be the oppressed? Or do you want to be somebody that stands up? Anyways, please, if you like the show, like it, share it, review it. You can do one or you can do all three. We're in the month of September. And, you know, things, I don't know. This year has been really weird. It's been good, but it's been weird. Imagine yourself in January talking about how you're going to do this and how you're going to do that and where you're going to be, and look at how far you've came. You know, I think life is a lot more precious than we actually think. But anyways, things that bother me this week. Banks are a scam. You know, they really are. I really believe that. How in the hell are you going to charge me $35 for having no money? And then let's say I'm still in the negatives. A day later or 2 days later, you're going to charge me another $35. Why? You know, I always believe that, you know, shouldn't have all your money in the bank. I mean, that's probably foolish to some people to say, but spreading out your money in different places also makes a lot of sense. Imagine you put $1 million in the bank. You can only withdraw like 800, depending on what account you have. And I think that's the lowest account. You can only withdraw 800. So what's the point of having a bank account if you can't get all the money that you said you put in there? See what I'm saying? But it is that. On top of that, for all my T-Mobile users, subscribers, whatever, hey, T-Mobile has been on their second time security breach. People's information has been stolen and whatever, and it was reported, but it wasn't really reported like that. You know, that's what happens when you have money and you can pay people off not to report about something. But it's those type of things where it's just like, we're living in a world where that data is more important than currency, because data is currency. Like, physical money doesn't mean anything anymore. You know, if I have your information, then I can do whatever with your information. And it's like T-Mobile, yeah, they say whatever, you know, we'll do better next time. But it's like, this is the second time, bro. It's just like when Equifax got they got a security breach and a lot of data was stolen. So it's just like now they're offering this service to where you can pay for extra protection. Why am I paying for extra protection in the first place? Get it right done the first time. But those are things that bother me.
Say, man, if you really like the show, and I assume that you like it because you're still listening to the show, but if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And if you are subscribed, please, write us a review. It helps people find the show, for one, and it also gives people an idea of what's going on in the show without actually listening. So, it attracts other people, and I'm just asking, if you don't want to, it's cool. If you do, God bless you. Now back to the show.
So I've come to the realization that people aren't willing to stand up for what they believe in. They just aren't. And to me, I feel like it's pretty pathetic. But that's the society that we live in, Everybody has anxiety. Everybody has fear of the unknown or whatever. And it means a lot when you have to give up everything. And that's where I'm going with it. Still believing in something, even if you have to sacrifice it. For one to really say that Colin Kaepernick is disrespecting the flag and disrespecting the troops, to me, it's kind of pathetic. Because we're still talking about this. And yet, we're still talking about the representation of what the flag may mean to you, or whatever. We're still talking about it. And the only thing that I don't understand is that why are we using the troops as a scapegoat for how people truly believe? Like, everybody was burning their Nikes and whatnot. And it's just like, it wasn't like the good Nikes. It was like the ones that you find at Academy for $29.99. Socks, 6 pairs run for what, $15? Nike t-shirt, $9.99. So it's just like, you're not really doing nothing. And the crazy thing about it is just like, you already spent your money. But here we are and we're still talking about this. People are still upset. And once again, it's just like, what doesn't really concern you shouldn't bother you at all. But we're in this age where everything matters because you're getting fed that information and everybody's getting their opinion in what's going on, right? Super weird. But besides that, as far as like how the week has moved really, really fast and how we stop talking about this and we move on to Mac Miller, and Mac Miller's dead. Mac Miller's dead because he overdosed on drugs. And honestly, it's the saddest thing to hear because he's 26. And a lot of people like to say life is too short. Life is not short. Life is what you make of it. Life is too short when you're wasting it. That's why I say time is of the essence, because if you don't respect your time, if you don't respect who you are, then later on in life, you're going to say, or somebody else is going to say, life is too short, The one thing that we all talk about is that we don't want to regret doing things or missing out on things, And look, this is where we are. It's sad because it's just like, there's one thing that we're all doing right now, and everybody's just like, check on your friends, blah, blah, blah. This is serious. But are you really checking on your friends? We talking about how mental health is very important and how mental illness is detrimental and people are killing themselves because of this and because of that. But are you really checking on people? Like, it's like when somebody overdoses or something, or somebody dies, it's just like, what are we doing? Like, why don't we check on people? Why don't we care about people like that? I get it. We all go through life. But the one thing that bothers me is you saying something and not doing it. Literally, if you have something to say, just say it. If you don't have nothing to say, don't say it. If you don't mean it, don't say it. But here we are on social media and everybody is talking about check on your friends, blah, blah, blah. I just found out that my friend died. And it actually shocked me. It shocked me because when we graduated high school, we weren't on the best terms. We actually hated each other. But it was just last year that we seen each other. And we were chilling. When I seen him, I gave him a hug. Because it was just like, I'm so happy to see you. And I'm glad that we put everything aside just because. And the thing about it is, it's just like, whatever we were fighting about, it was nothing. But he's dead now. And a part of me, I feel really bad. I feel really bad for myself. I feel really bad for his family. Because it's just like, it's not fair. And the crazy thing about it is, it's like, he's dead, but life still goes on. So what are you going to do? And it's hard to say stuff because as a man, we're not supposed to show our emotions. We're just not supposed to. But it's kind of hard when you lose somebody that you have memories with. It's kind of hard to do anything really. So my question is, what do you do? What do you do when you lose a friend because you didn't check on them? Like we say we're doing, we're checking on our friends and they die. And then when something happens, you're just like, we don't know how it happened. It just happened. That's the saddest thing that could ever happen, is somebody dying. Especially if you're not on good terms, you know? I don't know. You know, social media is something. It really is. I think people need to get help. Like, a lot of people talk about how social media is their platform and how this is their way of expressing how they feel about things. Nah, get help. Just because somebody posts a thread of how to deal with mental health and whatever, no, seek professional help. These people are not licensed. They're not licensed. They can't legally say things or do things. I get it, research, but getting that extra help works. I'm saying this because it's sad. When you lose somebody, I feel bad because I kept asking about my friend from another friend. And we didn't really speak this year. And the last memory that I have is us talking and hugging and hashing things out. You know, it's not a cry out to anybody. You know, this is just me venting. Like, look, if you're going to actually care about people, care about people. Don't sit here and care for social media. It's just like when people say their prayers online or they're talking to God online, but it's just like, bro, do you really talk to God in person? Like, it just doesn't make sense to do such a thing if your life is still shit. It doesn't make sense because it's just like, look, if you're going through something, don't act like you're not going through anything, okay? Don't sit here and act like you're perfect for online. At the end of the day, you know, I just want people to do better. But here we are, pleading, please. If you need help, get help. Drugs is only going to get you so far. Truly check on your friends because it matters. I rather appreciate somebody reaching out to me that I haven't spoken to this year than somebody that I talk to all the time, because I know you love me, but it means a lot for other people to check on you. So we're here in life, right? And we all go through things. And you realize that you're going into a transitional phase of life where things are going from bad to good. So how do you deal with that? How does one deal with a transitional phase? And how can you not fuck it up? Because there's some people that will. It's easy to say life is going to get better, but what are you actually going to do? I remember probably a long time ago, it wasn't that long, and even thinking back on the beginning of the year and last year, I realized how precious things were to me. I'm 25 years young, and I realized that life is so important. So once again, why don't we treat things like life and time so preciously? Last year my mom, she had a stroke. She's been sick ever since. She doesn't work anymore, so it's just like, it was tough. It really was tough. Just trying to get through that. We had the hurricane. I started working 2 jobs, and it was just so hard. But I told myself this was temporary because I always believed in myself. And I always believed that things will get better if you want them to get better. A lot of people complain. And I talk to a lot of people that complain. And a part of me feels like I'm better than this, Instead of talking about how shitty your job is and how incompetent people are, what are you doing? Once again, we're here in September, and it's just like, what's really going on? That's why I tell people, look, you got to be aware. I talk to people all the time at the gym, and one of the things that I talk to them about is eating right, because that's what counts. I always tell people it's 80% of what you eat is 20% of the work. More or less. Like, that's simple numbers for people. But that's where we are. And when people say, well, I can't really afford personal training, but I'm just like, but you just told me that you eat out all the time, And the thing about it is just like, you eat bad, but you continue to choose to eat bad instead of investing in yourself, I'm talking about transitional phases, right? You're contemplating on doing something. You think things will make better sense in your life if you made a change, because that's what needs to happen. You need to make a change. You would think that, right? But here we are. We're complaining, but we're not changing. What can you do about that? And how can you not mess it up? So I had 2 jobs in the beginning of the year and last year, and I didn't really tell nobody because it's just like, it's nobody's business. But it was definitely felt when I wasn't talking to anybody or whatever, or my schedule was completely booked. And a part of me was embarrassed. But it was just like, my circumstances and how things played out and what was going on in my family. It's like, what else could you do? And my whole life I had to like be the man, and I had to grow up fast. But should that be my excuse for not making it? I got out of that sticky situation by just, believing that I can do better. One day, Somehow, some way, you have to make a sacrifice, but it can all change if you take time and do better. Once again, we're here in our transitional phase. You're going from bad to good. Things can get worse, but at the end of the day, you're not dead. That's just how I look at it now. What are you going to do is the question. How are you going to make things better for yourself? I talk to a lot of people and they talk about how, they're ready for a man and whatever, but it's just like, fam, you don't even respect yourself. What do you mean you're ready for a man? How can you make your life better? Once again, we're in this transitional phase. We're going from bad to good. And don't get me wrong, things can go from good to bad, but that's up to you. I just talked about how my friend died, and it's just like, we're talking about legacy now. At the end of the day, you will die. But what are you going to do about it? And how do you want to be remembered? Once again, you have 2 deaths. Physically is the first one. And when your name is mentioned last on this earth is the next one. The thing about it is, like, everybody wants to be famous, but famous for what? How many followers you have? How much money you have? Because there's no point in dying with money. If you're going to die, die broke. You can't take the money to wherever you're going next. But once again, we're talking about transitional phases. What are you going to do? And how are you going to do it? And how are you going to give back to the world? Because we all play a part in society. By saying that, things could get better. If you're going through a bad situation, talk to somebody. It's not that serious for things to end. We just want better for ourselves, right? Now, I don't know how much I can stress this to people, especially what's going on right now in the government and politics. And I know a lot of people don't like dealing with politics because it's sticky. Well, actually, it's not even that it's sticky, You are who you are, and you believe what you believe. But when it comes to our economy and to the people that really need it, because everybody's on this, I'm trying to help everybody and I'm trying to save the world type of mentality. But what are you doing, right? To society, which you owe it, you need to go vote. This midterm, 2018, is probably one of the most important. It's very important because people are voting for governor, Senate, House of Representative. It's very important because, one, for those who say they want to impeach Trump, and I'm not trying to sway nobody into voting Democrat, but it's just like that's their agenda, They're trying to stop something from happening, something that could detrimentally be bad. And that's where we are. It's very important because these things matter to your state more than they matter to the actual country. Look, if you don't care about anything, care about your people. The one thing that I've noticed about this government and why I'm okay with Trump being in office is because we see everything that's going on. The Republicans have taken Congress and they've simply tried to shut everything down. Literally, they've tried to stop everything. They've tried to defund things. It's just messy. Like, I know you hear people talking about, and this is my thing, because people like to protest, but they don't know what's actually going on. I was one to say that, look, they've been doing this for a long time, but it's just like, look, when you're cutting money from hurricane relief and giving it to ICE to go get immigrants, $10 million, come on, dog. $10 whole million. You hear protesting on social media about how this is wrong. This is the type of thing that's happening. So it's up to you on what you want to do. But I want you to know that your vote matters right now because in your state and the laws that get passed is going to affect you more than it affects the country. Essentially, the result of what you're going to vote it's going to matter to the country later on. But for right now, go vote. Last day for registration is October 9th. Early voting starts October 22nd. Last day to vote, November 6th. Please, go vote. Now, I like to end the show. Always end the show on a positive term, Words of wisdom. Everybody is born with talent. But life is not about talent. It's a 2-to-1 ratio. Mental and physical. You have to be twice as hard mentally than to be physical. Still physically strong, but you have to be twice as hard mentally. I tell all my clients, I say, look, you got to focus. You have to be strong because pain is temporary. It doesn't matter if people are talented. I remember when I couldn't shoot a basketball, but I can shoot pretty well now. But hey, take whatever you want from it. Go check out the website, moreaboutsomethingelse.com. Please, if you like the show, like, review, share it. You can do all 3, or you can do 1. Either way, I appreciate it. But my name is Joshua, and I'm out.